Welcome back. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year!
Guys, it's 2025.
That's right.
Not for us, we're actually still in 2024, but you guys are in 2025.
Don't spoil it for us.
Hey, did they press the nuclear buttons? I hope everyone...
You know what? With the world the way it is, James, I don't think we should even make jokes like that anymore. Last week, we did our review of 2024.
The Pulp Kitchen Awards.
Pulp Kitchen Awards. We did the best movies and all of our categories for the whole of last year. Do go and check that out. We got dressed up and suited and booted for it. So if you like those kind of things, do check that out. Don't miss it.
Also on Double Take,
yes,
we talked all about Pulp Kitchen, reviewed this year.
Yes.
We talked about special, exciting things happening
Yes.
in January, and we announced some very cool stuff that's going on. So if you want to support us at the start of the year, that would make a huge difference to us. Please head over to our Patreon where you can listen to Pulp Kitchen ad-free and get access to our exclusive news show, Double Take.
And also, because we are recording this in advance, it's not going to be a review-led episode today, but what I will say is now we are in January 2025. You've got Nosferatu and We Live in Time are coming out on New Year's Day, and so those are out at the moment. And do check out our reviews. We put them out a couple of weeks ago, so if you have gone to have seen those, go back and check them out.
Lovely. So we're today going to be looking ahead at 2025 as a year, what we are in for, what are some of the films coming out, what are we most excited to see, what do we think could be a little bit of a prickly release. As always, these are quite fun just to get a sort of a little sort of temp check.
Yeah.
A temp check. As with all of these lists, release dates, especially with films, do slip in and out, come and go. Some of these things will change. We do have release dates for most of these, but like even on the lists I was looking at, the release dates like weren't true to what they were now. So if I say a date, just embrace it. That's roughly when they're coming out. We're going to go from January through to December.
Also, we are aware that there will be loads of other films coming out that like we haven't on our radar. And that's one of the best things at the beginning of the year. I like looking ahead and thinking, what are the past lives and the sing-sings and the Anoras that we don't know about.
The inner violent natures.
Yeah, that you pick up along the way.
It's fantastic. So starting off with January, we've got Guy Ritchie coming in with a film called In the Grey. This is starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill, and Isa Gonzalez. Three badasses team up to recover billions stolen from them. How are you feeling about Guy Ritchie, George?
Is it going to cinema or is it going to Amazon again?
I'm not sure. I don't have that information.
So Guy Ritchie's put out like a lot of films recently. He's put out like 4 films in the past 4 years, but they've all basically ended up on Amazon. He had Wrath of Man, then he had Operation Fortune, then he had Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, and then he had The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which I watched on a flight back from Florida and was pretty so-so. And now he's got another one. So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, but will I actually ever see it, or is it going to go straight on Prime?
I've not seen any of those. I'm kind of letting Guy Ritchie do his thing, and I'm sure he'll continue to do his thing.
He's kind of it's kind of an old school kind of filmmaking, which is trot out average movies fairly frequently to fill the place on a streamer. Anyway,
next film called September 5th.
Yes,
not releasing on September 5th. Directed by Tim Feldbaum. This stars Peter Sarsgaard, John Magaro, Ben Chaplin, and Leone Benesch. And this is about a historical drama that recounts the 1972 Munich Olympic hostage crisis, specifically from the perspective of an ABC Sports news team as they covered the unfolding situation live.
Yes.
And this is blends the drama with archival footage. It premiered at Venice and got very strong reviews. This looks really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I saw the trailer
them being the most appropriate team to cover this for the news.
Yes.
Even though,
and there's sort of political tensions with the ABC News team want to cover it, but the sports team are on the ground because they were covering the Olympics. There's tensions like that. I saw the trailer, when I went to see Emilia Perez. It looks great. Yeah. We've seen the topic covered in Spielberg's Munich, which is a film I'd like to go back and rewatch because a lot of people say if you look at it now, it's so coded in its criticism of post 9/11 America and about the sort of witch hunt. I think it's really interesting. It's got Daniel Craig in it as well, actually, in a sort of a supporting role, pre-Bond.
Nice.
That looks really good.
Moving on to January 17th, we've got Wolfman, directed by Lee Winnell, starring Julia Garner and Christopher Abbott. This is Universal Monsterverse.
Right.
They're getting back in their monster reboot. And this is from the director who brought us in The Invisible Man.
Which I've heard, by the way. I heard that was great.
Yeah.
I think it came out just before COVID, but a lot of people say it's a bit of a forgotten film now, but the Elizabeth Moss one, but I heard a lot of people say that was good.
Universal Monsterverse still kicking in there strong.
Strong? Is it?
No. Still, they're trying.
They still own the rights to these things.
They still own the rights. They've yet to go into the public domain.
Did you ever see The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro? They did in 2010.
No.
It was set in Victorian England. Well, that's what I think. Are they going to do that with this? But
could be.
It's one of those films that I'm it's coming out in January and we haven't heard a lot about it, I wonder if we're never going to hear about it again after it's been released. Anyway,
this next one, You're Cordially Invited, on January 30th, directed by Nicholas Stoller. This is starring Reese Witherspoon, Will Ferrell, Geraldine Viswanathan, and Meredith Hagner. This is You're Cordially Invited is a throwback to the glossy studio comedies we used to be served all the time. It's an Amazon film, so not like cinema release. And Witherspoon and Farrell play nemesis at a wedding venue where their respective ceremonies have been double booked. You're Cordially Invited.
I like Will Ferrell, and I don't mind Reese Witherspoon. If we can make it,
She'll do a Bride Wars poster.
It's like when they brought out that film You People on Netflix, which before it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, David
I saw that on a
Duchovny.
plane.
That looks great." And then it was rubbish, and it fades away. That's what I'm worried that will be.
Love Hurts, February 7th, from Jonathan Esubio. Ki Kwan is the leading man in this. This is blockbuster action comedy from Universal, which looks great. I'm excited to see Ki Kwan in that role.
Leading role. Good.
Yeah, straight out of the way. Coming up soon, exciting, because it was shot literally on my road, is Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy.
Yes.
February 14th. We just rewatched Bridget Jones 2 and 3 as a family. Just at home. And they're both great.
I've not seen 3. I've seen 2 once. I'm planning to rewatch. Well, by the time this has been released, I will have watched it at Christmas. I mean to say, but I'm planning to rewatch it. Then I really like Bridget Jones. I think
they're still great. Even the second one I thought was still just as good as the first.
And this looks really interesting. It's got Chiwetel Ejiofor in it in a much more interesting role than Venom 3.
Oh,
and
this is
Leo Woodall as well.
This is totally crazy. So this happened when I was at school. The character Chiwetel Ejiofor is playing is the teacher of her children.
Yeah.
And that character's name is Mr. Wallaker.
Right.
The author of Bridget Jones sent her child to my school, and my year 5 teacher was Mr. Wallaker. And she is known to have based this character off of a crush she had on a teacher from her school. So and she's taken the name Wallaker, and my year 5 form teacher, he taught geography, was Mr. Wallaker. And when I saw that trailer, it's like, Mr. Wallaker. I'm like, whoa, that is a throwback.
Sounds like a lawsuit went to happen.
Yeah, he should sue.
But Leo Woodall as well from One Day.
Yeah.
Good to see that there. And
just-
Hugh Grant turning up for another
Yes.
for a week. He said it took him a week's work.
You know, he in the third one,
He's meant to have been dead.
Yeah.
But
But
he's
he's going to
back.
bring him back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I was like spoiling Bridget Jones.
Well, they kind of didn't. At the end of the
trailer.
third one, they kind of go, "He's actually back," because there's
Yes,
a
yeah, I
news
think you're
footage
right.
or something that says like Amelia fell alive.
Coming straight in February 14th, just in time for Valentine's Day, is Captain America: Brave New World. So, one of 3 Marvel films we've got this year, Marvel 2024 took a breath, right? They did Deadpool and Wolverine, but now we're back.
To 3, and then afterwards it'll be 2 movies a year, 3 series. I think they said, or 3 movies, 2 series.
Could be.
One of those.
We'll find out.
The trailer actually doesn't look that bad at all.
It
looks fairly solid.
It's very like a Cap film.
Do you know what it is? I've been off of Marvel for such a time now that I'm clean. So that when I'm offered Marvel stuff, I'm kind of like,
It's out your system, you know.
It's out of my system, so I'm like, I don't know why I need to watch this anymore. But I will give it a watch. I like Harrison Ford.
Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't so much of a
Self-contained
Marvel
thing.
Yeah, self-contained. We will see.
We'll see.
Stay tuned to
I'm
Pulp Kitchen.
intrigued, yeah.
Hopefully we get a fun little premiere or screening.
Hopefully.
That'll be great. Coming in February 21st, we've got Osgood Perkins, who directed Longlegs, doing The Monkey. This is starring Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, and Elijah Wood. This is a horror adaptation of the Stephen King short story written and directed by Osgood Perkins, who, came back with Longlegs and really impressed us.
Hey, good director, good source material,
Yeah.
interesting cast. I'm there for it. I like it.
So this next one coming into March 7th, I saw a trailer for when I went to go see Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim. It looks really cool. This is Sinners, new film from Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, and Delroy Lindo. It looks like a sort of Get Out meets a Western.
Wow.
Really unsettling, dark, horrifying, action. Looks brilliant.
Ryan
Looks
Coogler,
really,
who directed
really good.
Black Panther,
yeah.
Creed, and reuniting with Michael B. Jordan. I'm all for it.
It looks brilliant when I saw the trailer. I saw it for the first time in cinema and I was like, ooh.
And then
brilliant.
that looks good. I won't ever watch the trailer again.
Yes, yeah. I'll do a George Pandek.
Yep.
I must avert my eyes. Moving on to March 14th, we've got Black Bag, Steven Soderbergh, which this is a TV series, I think.
Okay.
Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, Reggie John Page, Marissa Abuelo, Naomi Harris, Tom Burke, Pierce Brosnan.
Wow.
It's kind of like a Day of the Jackal thing.
Good
Michael
cast.
Fassbender coming after the killer.
He's doing a lot at the Fassbender. He's in that show, The Agency, which I've not watched, but friend of the show, Fred Asquith, said was quite good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Coming on to March 21st, Disney Snow White, the live action.
Yeah.
Rachel Ziegler, directed by Mark Webb.
I don't really have any thoughts on it, really.
I think like Cinderella and like Beauty and the Beast and like Little Mermaid, it will come, make 3x its budget and go. That's, I think, what they do. They do so well internationally. Nobody's putting them on. I don't believe anyone's putting them on now. You watch the original. Millennials aren't putting on the live action version, I'll tell you that right now. Maybe kids are watching the Emma Watson Beauty and the Beast, but us Disney fans, we're watching the cartoons.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Next up, March 21st, Barry Levinson directing The Alto Knights. This is starring Robert De Niro, Cosmo Jarvis, Deborah Messing, Catherine Narducci. Robert De Niro plays a role in this Barry Levinson film as two notorious Italian-American mob bosses, Vito Genovese and Frank Costello. The pair run two separate crime families that inevitably collide as the power-hungry crime bosses fight for dominance in mid-20th century New York.
Sounds interesting. Sam Levinson is that? Barry Levinson?
Barry Levinson.
So Barry Levinson, that's interesting. Who is Sam Levinson of Euphoria's father? Barry Levinson, who directed Rain Man, directed Diner, Good Morning Vietnam, very accomplished director.
And De Niro still got it. Don't want to hear it.
It does sound a little bit cliche for him to be playing mob boss again. And also Frank Costello is the name of Jack Nicholson's character in The Departed.
Yes, well spotted there. Yeah,
I'm open to it. With De Niro, when he brings them out, I'm always like, yeah, but De Niro, is this one I need to take seriously or not?
Yeah.
Because is it going to be like The Family or Dirty Grandpa, or is this going to be The Irishman? I need to know. Anyway.
Moving into April, we've got the Minecraft movie, which has had a bit of a rechange because people reacted very badly to the first trailer. It doesn't look good. I don't like the look of it. Love Minecraft, not keen for this. Next up, we've got The Amateur, directed by James Hawes. This stars Rami Malek, Rachel Brosnahan, John Bernthal, Michael Stuhlbarg, Lawrence Fishburne. Great cast. This is... Rami Malek is playing Charles Heller, a CIA cryptographer whose wife is killed in a London terrorist attack. This is an adaptation of the Robert Littell's novel. Looks great. Follows Charles as he becomes a CIA operative so he can hunt down his wife's killer himself. I think he's like a nerdy guy, but ends up becoming a bit of an action man.
Yeah, I mean, kind of thinking Rami Malek needs a thing now. Like, he won the Oscar and he was in a couple of things. Turned Up in Oppenheimer and Mr. Robot finished. And let's have a new role, please.
Fun. This is one of my. This next one's one of my most. The one I'm looking forward to the most. This is Mickey 17, coming in April 18th. This is Boon Joon-ho's new film, starring Robert Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, Stephen Yeun. Sci-fi, weird, wonderful, a little bit of sort of consciousness swapping between bodies by the looks of it. I've only seen a vibe from the trailer.
I think we really like Robert Pattinson.
He's brilliant.
When he brings everything. I really like edgy sci-fi. I like sort of cerebral sci-fi. Bong Joon-ho delivered Parasite, one of the best movies of recent years. Great.
Can't wait. Next up, Marvel is back on May the 5th with Thunderbolts, directed by Drake Shire, starring David Harbour, Hannah John Carmen, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko, Florence Pugh, Harrison Ford. This is the second offering of 2025. Supervillains turned heroes. This is the sort of Suicide Squad of the Marvel universe. I am less excited to see.
My pulse has not risen in hearing you talk about that.
We reacted to the trailer on Double Take and we were like,
sure. Captain America, maybe. This one, not so much.
Less of a thunderbolt, more of a static shock on a trampoline. Next up, we got Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning. They're not putting 8, but it's Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning. Not Dead Reckoning Part 2.
No.
We've already reckoned Dead. Now we reckon Final. May 23rd, Christopher McQuarrie back at the helm to see us through. Also, obviously starring Tom Cruise, Hayley Atwell, Simon Pegg, Vanessa Kirby, Ving Rhames. God bless Ving Rhames because he's still there. He's still there. Bob Clemente and Esai Morales.
And Hannah Waddingham apparently in an undisclosed role.
Fun.
Do you know what about the Mission Impossible films? It's like I feel quite in safe hands with that. I'm like, I know that will hopefully be what the other ones have been, which is solid, delivering great set pieces, not stupid enough to insult the intelligence of its audience, but silly enough to have fun.
I'm not lying awake wondering if it's going to be good. I'm totally ready for you whenever that's done. Looking forward to that. Next up, we have got Ballerina coming out on June 6th, directed by Len Wiseman. This is starring Ana de Armas, Keanu Reeves, Ian McShane, Lance Reddick, Norman Reedus, Angelica Huston, Gabriel Byrne, Catalina Sandino Moreno. First spin-off film from the John Wick universe, which stars Ana de Armas as one of the female assassins trained by the Risca Roma.
So this is definitely a film, not a series.
I'm pretty sure it's film.
Because I've heard,
Film.
but the thing is,
Film.
it's been rumored for. I'm sorry, it's been talked about for such a long time. I've kind of switched off. But sure, Ana de Armas is a big star. They clearly go big with it. They
John
made
Wick
4
very
John Wicks.
successful.
Like,
I feel like I should watch the rest of the John Wick films. 'Cause
Same.
everyone speaks so highly of them. What? Oh, I heard that too. Is that a mouse? Was that a mouse?
maybe it was a squeaky bike. It was really loud. I think it was too loud to be a mouse.
You did like a dog.
Like a dog. You heard it too, right?
Yeah. Only when you perked up.
I agree. I've only seen John Wick 1, and I hear they get better and better.
Yeah.
Especially
Next up.
Parabellum.
Yes. And 4 was meant to be great. They went back to chapters for that. It was like
Yes.
chapter 2, Parabellum, chapter 4. Next up, Elio, directed by Adrian Molina. This starring America Ferrera, Jonas Katrib, Jamila Jamil, Brad Garrett. This is a Pixar film, which is following 2023's Elemental, not sequel to. This is about the 11-year-old boy named Elio, of course, who is inadvertently beamed up into space and is mistaken to be an ambassador of Earth on another planet,
Sounds fun.
which sounds fun.
Pixar, you say?
Directorial debut for Adrian Molina, who previously worked on Coco, Toy Story 4, and
Fantastic.
Luca.
That sounds
So
really
fresh
Pixar-y.
Pixar
Love
coming
that.
in there, yeah. Obviously, like he will be, he'll talk on behalf of humanity. And
Yeah.
it'll be, Pixar. Next up, on June 13th, How to Train Your Dragon, but it's a live-action remake of the animation, which I've only heard amazing things about. I think I've seen half of
I've
one
never-
years ago.
never watched it.
Ali Plum was
Yeah.
saying he absolutely
it.
loves it. We've got some people reprising their roles. So I think Gerard Butler is reprising his role in that, but not
Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel. We've got someone else in there. Nico Parker's in there in another role. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll like that one. Next up, we've got on June 20th, 28 years later, Danny Boyle
Yes.
film, late sequel to 28 weeks later of 28 days later, the 28
Later trilogy.
later trilogy.
The 28 time period later.
Later trilogy.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago on Double
Yeah.
Take, didn't we? The trailer reaction. It's apparently one of the most watched horror trailers of all time online.
Oh, wow.
I think-
that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, I wonder. I do hope this does well. I think it's got
Yeah.
such a recognizable brand, the red with the Toxic Waste logo. And I'm looking forward to seeing Britain in a sort of horror setting.
Danny Boyle, I thought, did Trainspotting 2 successfully after many years with a progression of time, literally. Like 28 weeks, literally,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the thing. I believe in him to
Yes.
carry us home for 28 years
You can
later.
do it, Danny. And Alex Garland returning to writing
Yes,
that
turn
as
to
well.
writing. Mathregan 2.0.
Oh,
Megan.
no.
I believe this is the first of many Megan sequels.
What are they going to call the third one?
Well, the thing is,
Mathregan
there's
3.
Mathregan 3. That's the thing. It should just Megan, but they've three'd
Yeah.
too early. Megan was really dumb, a little bit of fun. Like it was
The
horror
horror doll movie,
horror
right?
doll who is like a nanny, and is obviously everything goes wrong. Yes, please see previous reviews. I believe that will continue to. They'll make many films. Next up, I'm kind of looking forward to this. In June 27th, we've got F1, the Joseph Kosinski film starring Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Javier Bardem, Kerry Condon, Tobias Menzies, Cher Wiggum. They have been filming this for a really, really long time because they are waiting for all of the F1 events around the world to happen, and they film at all of them. So I think they only just wrapped, but I know Brad Pitt's been filming that for a really long time. They've been using like the technology of F1 in 2023 as a precedent, and they've sort of used that as their period of time, and have been working around all the events to do it. Top Gun meets F1 sounds great.
If Joseph Kosinski can shoot it in the way that he shot airplanes flying,
which is
the
how it
jet
looks
engines
like.
flying, if you can shoot the cars moving in that way, which the trailer does look like that, I think it looks great.
It looks quite really slick as well. On July 2nd, we've got Jurassic World Rebirth, which is the Gareth Edwards directed film, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, Manuel Garcia Rulfo.
The reboot of the reboot.
The reboot of the reboot. It's called Rebirth.
Yeah.
So I like Gareth Edwards. I think he really does love film, for lack of a better term, and I believe that he can have some really good ideas up his sleeve. I'm not personally that interested in Jurassic World / Park at the moment. I want them to park it.
Literally, I think it's one of those franchises you're like, you were good with one film.
Yeah.
You were good with one.
It is. And a brilliant film
At that.
At that. July 11th, exciting times, James Gunn's Superman.
Yes.
Teaser's just come out as of time of recording, but this is coming out a few weeks later. We've got David Corenswet,
Yes.
Rachel Brosnahan, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Marced, Eddie Gathegi, Anthony Carrigan, Nicholas Hoult, who's playing Lex.
I really like James Gunn as a director. I think he does interesting things. It has an interesting style that's always very watchable, very entertaining, and it looks, from the sort of initial things I've seen about it, it looks like it's got the kind of fun visuals, like the soaring visuals of the Zack Snyder Man of Steel, but with a bit more light and a bit more fun in it.
Be interesting to see him do that sort of slightly pious, stoic Superman imagery, but with the injection of like the James Gunn fun.
He's wearing pants this time, you know that?
Good.
The Superman pants.
Not
James Gunn. Like, I think he always wears pants when he directs.
It was a nightmare on
He's
set.
just nude from the waist down.
Smurfs movie, July 18th, Rihanna and Nick Offerman.
Another one? Move on.
We got Fantastic Four in July 25th, directed by Matt Shackman, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn. Yes.
If I may, so the Marvel 3 movies were getting within 4 or 5 months of each other. Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four.
Not because of giving it a bit of...
not spreading it out.
No.
But good cast. Ralph Ineson is playing Galactus, I believe, in that.
Oh, great.
Yeah, great villain to be.
Yeah.
And Julia Garner is the Silver Surfer.
I'm really happy he's just having this really great career.
I see. That's interesting. That's got the July release date, because that's the biggest one, like the Deadpool Wolverine. I really think that is a pivotal film for Marvel.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four one. I think they are really banking on that being a direction change, a recalibration of the tone, and being like a look to the future, what we can do with IP. And we haven't had the Fantastic Four before.
New characters to reset.
Yeah, exactly. To reset it. So of all the Marvel films, that's the one I'm most interested in.
Kind of like how Guardians of the Galaxy were so far away in space that they sort of reset the tone in a lot of ways to then come back to the rest of Marvel.
Is it
stuff.
interesting that we get Fantastic Four films every 10 years? We had 2005.
Exactly, yeah.
2015's Fan Four Stick, and now we get 2025's.
I look forward to the 2035. On August 1st, we've got The Naked Gun, directed by Akiva Schaffer, who's from The Lonely Island.
Yes.
This is starring Liam Neeson, Paul Walter Hauser, Kevin Durant, Pamela Anderson, Danny Houston, Cody Rhodes. So this is bringing back the bumbling detective Frank Drebin. Originally played by Leslie Nielsen in the classic TV comedy Police Squad and a trio of Naked Gun films. So yeah, that is big shoes to fill. I don't think I've seen them, but I've seen clips. I need
really
to probably
good.
watch
They're
them.
really
I
good.
really need to
that
go
classic
check them out.
era of comedy. It's the Abrams and Zucker comedy, which is like just a joke. It's the airplane model.
same,
a joke, everything. Like Leslie Nielsen, completely brilliant, completely deadpan, really silly jokes. Describe the victim. He was 6'2" with a mustache. That's an awfully big mustache. Things like that. And I don't know if it's a thing you can remake, but Liam Neeson doing
It's
deadpan.
Interesting casting, I think.
Liam Neeson doing deadpan is really funny. Like with the Life's Too Short sketch is brilliant. And the Lonely Island, they've got good comedic chops. So yeah, that's it. Paul Walter Hauser, by the way, an actor I love, very underrated.
This next one is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. This is Untitled, Paul Thomas Anderson film coming out August 8th, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, Wood Harris, Alana Haim, Chase Infinity. Directed, written, and produced by PTA. This will be his 10th narrative feature, the first to be released in IMAX. Not else is known besides his all-star cast.
That is interesting.
That's all we have is the cast.
Time to release a PTA movie. August. That's not awards season.
No,
what
for
is
all we know, it could slip. It's like Untitled. Like I'd say that's undated as well.
But yeah, that does sound interesting. Leo
DiCaprio
PTA,
only turns up for the best. That's big. Yeah, it's a big film. Very much looking forward to that. We got another Insidious movie, Thread, an Insidious Tale. They're doing more of that, starring Mandy Moore and Kumail Nanjiani. There's one decent Insidious film. I think the rest are really bad. We've got The Bride, ! Coming out on September 26th. It's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. Yeah. This is starring Christian Bale, Jesse Buckley, Jake Gyllenhaal, nepotism, Steven Sarsgaard, Annette Bening, Penelope Cruz, and John...
Steven Sarsgaard, did you say?
Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah, another bit. That's her husband.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Get a brother and a husband in there.
This is a new Frankenstein film being brought to life, this time through a female lens.
Yes.
This is a remake by Maggie Gyllenhaal of 1935's Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, I mean,
I think I've seen some of the
What a
pictures of it.
cast.
The concepts of and the design of Christian Bale as the creature of Frankenstein, the Frankenstein's creature, is really interesting. It looks a little bit steampunk, a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I think it looks really exciting. And I love Christian Bale. I love Jessie Buckley as well.
Yeah.
And Maggie Gyllenhaal has been
Is it her
slowly...
debut?
No, she made The Lost Daughter.
Oh, right, okay.
She's been slowly kind of carving her way in. I think this looks really good. I'm quite excited for it.
Me too. Next up, Saw 11 is almost the running joke of cinema franchises.
Saw was in the Jigsaw. Wow.
Saw 11, yeah.
Is it 11? Hang on, because it's like it is Saw 11, but I'm like, but then they made Jigsaw, then they made Spiral, and then
So this is 2023. Saw 10 was very, very successful. And so this is sort of like, we'll give you another one. Oh, I know it's technically in the long line. But it's like Saw X was very, very well done. Did you see Saw X?
No.
I
saw
wasn't
Fast X.
Fast X.
Also, maybe it was COVID for this, but like they made the Saw film with Chris Rock called Spiral. In 2021.
No, I didn't see it.
That
I remember seeing the trailer. People were like, "Oh my god!"
That's a classic COVID film for me.
Yeah.
Just like it came out 2021. No one was really going to the cinema anyway.
Yeah. Next up on October 10th. Next up on October 10th, we've got Tron Ares, directed by Joachim Roening.
Yeah, who I interviewed for Young Women in the Sea earlier in 2024. The Daisy Ridley movie, which is actually not bad. About the woman who swims across the sea.
Love it. Starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Cameron Monaghan, Evan Peters, Gillian Anderson, Jodie Turner-Smith, Arturo Castro, Hassan Minaj, Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges back.
Back, of course.
New Tron. I have no real kin in the game with Tron.
I feel like in a way it's kind of got no pressure on it. Like what it should be is a really inventive, imaginative science fiction film.
Yeah.
Because no one's really holding on to Tron Legacy. And Tron Legacy, no one was really holding on to Tron. Tron was made in 1982. And Tron Legacy didn't do very well.
Why is this here?
Well, because it's an IP they have, which probably has some sort of legacy association. So they're like, it's a bit familiar.
Yeah.
People have heard of Tron, but let's adapt it into something new.
Next up, we've got Predator: Badlands.
Oh,
November 7th.
Prey?
This is from Dan Trachtenberg, starring Elle Fanning. This is next in the Predator installment. Yes. Who helmed the last installment of 2022's Prey. Yeah,
that's still a great movie, Prey. And it's a shame they kind of put the Predator back into the title. But Prey, again, a kind of a COVID hangover. I know it came out in 2022, was put onto like Disney Plus in August of that year. It deserves so much more than that. I hope they can keep their hands on the tiller for that. But I wish they hadn't just put Predator back in the title because breakaway.
Yeah, there'll be Predator films for as long as we breathe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Coming out on November 14th, Ruben Fleischer's coming in with Now You See Me 3, returning is Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Morgan Freeman, Justice Smith, Dominic Sessa, Ariana Greenblatt, Rosamund Pike. They're back. I've
never seen any of them.
One, which is fine, and I didn't see two. There's an amazing card throwing sequence, which is really quite impressive.
Wasn't the problem with
YouTube it?
Not that I've seen it, but the problem with Now You See Me was that they do magic tricks, but you're like, but it's just all CGI. So there's no way those are actual magic tricks in the real world.
There's a lot of them all like, that's not real magic.
Not real. You can't actually do that trick in the real world.
There is real magic in there, but also, do you know what happens in any of them?
No.
Oh, you should watch them out Now You See Me 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming up in November 21st from Edgar Wright.
Sorry, you've just reminded me that I remember there was a clip from the junkets of Now You See Me 1 where Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman were in a junket together, and while Michael Caine was talking, Morgan Freeman fell asleep and then woke up again about a minute later.
That's so junket.
Yeah, it just sort of wakes up. Anyway, sorry.
Next up, Edgar Wright back in with The Running Man,
Glenn
November 21st, starring Glenn Powell, Katie O'Brien, and Carl Glussman. New adaptation of Stephen King, still just making
bank.
Adaptation of Stephen King's sci-fi novel, which first made it onto the big screen in the form of an Arnold Schwarzenegger action extravaganza in 1987.
Yeah. So we talked about this in Double Take
to make this feel more faithful to the original story.
Yeah, we talked about this on Double Take a few weeks ago, maybe months ago. I've seen the original one with Arnie. Rubbish.
Right.
So go ahead, Edgar. Make it something good.
Fix it.
Please.
Next up, November 21st, we've got Wicked Part 2, which I think has now been renamed to Wicked for Forever again.
For good.
For good.
Wicked for good.
Forever again. Don't let me title it. Wicked for Good. I think that's a cheesy
title. Isn't it the name of a song?
I know, but I think it sounds dumb for somebody who's never
As
seen
of time of recording, still not had the time to go and see Wicked yet.
Yeah, you still not seen Wicked. Wicked I hear the second half of Wicked is less fun than the first half of Wicked. And as someone who's not into Wicked, I saw Wicked Part 1 and I said, that was amazing. Thank you. I actually I'm not waiting to see how this ends.
Do you think they should have titled it Wicked Wild West and it would have been a crossover with the Will Smith Wiki Wild Wild West? Do you remember
Perfect. Yeah, I remember it. It's just the
Giant
dad
mechanical
joke of the year.
in January. Giant mechanical spider. Yeah. Anyway.
Zootopia 2, November 26th. The finally long-awaited sequel.
Very
for
much
that.
like the first one.
Really good. Really good. I don't feel
Belated, though.
Yeah. Well, takes them a while. When did 1 come out?
2016.
God, that's 9 years.
Those kids are grown up and gone.
Yeah. Jason Bateman, Jennifer Goodwin, Rolando de Villa Beltran. Sequel to Zootopia. And then on December 19th, Avatar Fire and Ash. We're getting that at the end of the year.
You're exhausted of it.
You're just so bored by it.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway through the franchise. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you say so, please see previous thoughts on Avatar being really boring. It's going to be more of the same.
Yeah. Blue.
Well, Fire and Ash might be a bit red and grey.
We're introducing a whole new color palette.
Yeah. Are we going to have fire people?
Maybe.
We did the water people.
Volcano people.
Volcano people. Yeah, I'm sure it will look gorgeous.
So a mixed bag there for 2025. But some things are really interesting. Are you done? Sorry.
There's
one more.
Sorry.
There's
There's just one. No, you're There's one in a TBD zone, which is Dirty Dancing 2, which I didn't know if this was happening. Directed by Jonathan Levine, starring Jennifer Grey. After almost 40 years, Dirty Dancing is finally getting a sequel. Although details about the plot, title, and release date are still up in the air, we know Jennifer Grey is returning as Baby Houseman, and Lionsgate is working to include as many original cast members as possible. The film will honour the late Patrick Swayze, not by recasting his character, but rather by incorporating Johnny into the story.
I don't think that's coming out next year because I'm like, if it's coming out next year, that needs a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it could work. Yeah, Jennifer Grey back. Yeah, it could be fun, could be sexy, but also like that film just doesn't offer itself obviously for love. Unless you do it like maybe she goes away with her daughter and it's like, oh, maybe that generationally could happen. We will see. But that is 2025. Those are the films that are coming out. And some
subject to change, but quite a good little look at those. I'd say, yeah, I'm excited for PTA Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And then Mickey 17, I think I'm really excited for.
I'm looking forward to The Bride. And also, these are just the films that are on the list.
Hey,
there's loads of films that are going to come out we won't even know about.
Don't just think the list is final. The list is not final.
No.
The list is barely
We are not bound
accurate.
by the list.
I won't be held to account of my list at the end of the year. Well, there you go, guys. That was a look at all of the films, well, some of the films, as we said, coming out in 2025. We're recording this ahead of time, so we're just going to read you one email for today, which comes in from our VIP.
A VIP from Owen, who leaves us with a thought exercise because he previously emailed in a few weeks ago about the Matt Damon performances and how we would rank them. And just a reminder that if you do subscribe to the Patreon and you are the VIP or producer tier, you can get your email read out as a priority on the show. Of course, if you have sent an email in after the time that we've recorded that, it won't be in this episode. Just bear with us for that for time. But anyway, Owen writes in and says, "Hi guys, Owen here from your weekly list dilemma. Thank you for making my Matt Damon list and making some great adjustments. Talented Mr. Ripley was a great shout.
Oh, yeah.
I will now only list one film from a franchise to make it harder. So this week it is Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Please remove, add, and rearrange the list to better suit your opinion.
Okay.
Thank you for your amazing podcast, and you deserve all the success you get, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Tom Cruise's top 5 films. With 1 being the best, 5th being the least. Not the least, but like...
Okay.
So at number 5, Minority Report.
Okay.
At number 4, War of the Worlds. At number 3, The Last Samurai. At number 2, Top Gun Maverick. And number 1, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
I'm going to take out War of the Worlds and Last Samurai because I like War of the Worlds. Haven't seen it in a long time. I've only seen Last Samurai like 20 years ago, so those are out. I would. I'm
going to put in A Few Good Men for me personally.
I was going to put in Rain Man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of acting
Jerry
era of
Maguire.
Tom Cruise. Oh yeah, I haven't seen Jerry Maguire in a while.
But Dead Reckoning Part 1 is great. And
Yeah.
so is like Mission Impossible 4 and
Mission Impossible
it's hard
Fallout.
because he's got so many swings at the bat with Mission Impossible. I'm almost like I can't. It's
taking up space.
I want to just go the Mission Impossible thing itself.
Okay,
It
put it this way: would you say the Mission Impossible films as one entity
definitely
are they
deserve to be on
his
there.
best roles? Oh, you got to put Magnolia in there.
Oh,
Got to put
yeah,
Magnolia in there
yeah.
as the repugnant, sexist but flawed individual in that. So I'm going.
It's hard.
I don't know what order I put him in. I'd probably say a Minority Report. He's good in that as well, but I haven't seen it in a while.
It's really good in Valkyrie.
Okay, it depends if you're going for like blockbuster Tom Cruise or acty Tom Cruise. If you're going for acty Tom Cruise, you go for Magnolia, you go for A Few Good Men, you go for Rain Man. He's good and Born on the 4th of July from the 80s with Willem Dafoe as well. He plays a Vietnam War veteran.
Edge of Tomorrow is brilliant.
He's really
so good.
And
in
do you know
Edge
what?
of
Actually,
Tomorrow. I put Edge of Tomorrow up there.
because he's the novice in that.
Yes,
he doesn't know everything.
He's not
Emily Blunt
cool.
has
He's
to
quite
teach him.
pathetic,
Yeah,
but
he's
then
quite
he
pathetic.
becomes accomplished. I do think Top Gun Maverick
Yeah,
is
I
one
would
of his
leave it in
best
there.
films.
Okay, Top Gun. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Let's
hard.
put Top Gun Maverick top. Then we go Edge of Tomorrow after. Then we're going to go in some order.
Few Good Men.
Few Good Men. Rain Man and Magnolia. Done.
Agonising. Thank you so much.
Very
Owen, and thank
difficult.
you for your
Very,
support.
very difficult, Owen.
As always, guys, if you want to send in your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your emails, please do send them into hello@popkitchenpodcast.com and support us on Patreon if you want to get priority access to have your email read on the show.
As we say, guys, normal service will resume next week. We just wanted to do a nice little roundup of the films coming up ahead and end with that little thought exercise.
Can I just say, I think Google's being really pedantic when you Google Tom Cruise. The About section is Thomas Cruise Mapother IV is an American actor and producer. It's like, fuck off. No one's, you don't need to do that, Google. Just call him Tom Cruise.
That's his real name.
I know, but just ridiculous.
There are the other 3 Thomas Mapothers walking around. Did you mean me?
Thomas Cruise Mapother.
Thank you, Owen, for that. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this first episode of the year. I hope you all had a great New Year's and feel rejuvenated and rested and are excited for the year of cinema we have ahead of us. Like I said, check out Double Take. We talked about our highlights from 2024 and what we're excited about as a show for 2025.
Back to more usual Pop Kitchen programming next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.
It's an exciting year.
Bye.
Bye.